Do I need to come in live right now?
इतना सफर है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन की कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good afternoon, one and all. Thank you so much for joining us today for yet another exciting episode of Business Opportunity of a Chai series. Franchise India, Asia's largest franchisee and business solution company, welcome you to this particular episode. We are welcoming our host, management team of Franchise India, Mr. Gaurav Maria and Sonia Chaudhary, to take it further. They'll be sharing their insights about the industry as well as about the brand. The brand of the day today is Smart Chef LLP. It's a cloud kitchen franchisee opportunity, and it's our privilege to welcome Mr. Sagar Arora, who is a partner at Smart Chef, along with marketing head, Ms. Komal Sharma. She's a trained chef also. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sagar and Komal. So over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining in today. I'll just like to briefly take you through our brand presentation, which is Smart Chef LLP, and our brand tagline is Roaring Flavors, because we do believe that we are bringing some new flavors and opportunities in the F&B space to Delhi NCR and other cities as well. Archana, if you could move forward, please. So just a small brief about the brand. Smart Chef LLP consists of 3 brands, which is the Sama, Dimbao, and Mr. Pao. The founder of the brand is Mr. Kapil Arora, who is already a renowned manufacturing firm owner, very enthusiastic about food and beverage, along with Sagar and Sahil, who are the head of operations and the managing partners and marketing head. Smart Chef, all the 3 brands of Smart Chef are very uniquely positioned in the market to offer you a quality, distinctive taste at a very reasonable price, speedy delivery with top quality. The vision is to provide the customers with an authentic experience with cuisines as well as varieties, and give to the customers the right kind of meal that we're looking at right at their doorsteps. Archana, if you can move forward. So our first brand being the Sama, which is the Sama Anna secret recipe. The Sama brings a very delightful South Indian and coastal cuisine experience to Delhi NCR. Our first outlet was started in Gurgaon last year in the month of September, October. And so the Sama's idea is basically to give you authentic food as well as a fusion twist to it. So not just your average, dosas or idlis that you get, but along with that, we're providing you a unique, blend of biryanis, some chettinad curries, and a lot of fusion food as well. On to the next slide, Archana, please. So the Sama is a South Indian brand under Smart Chef, which serves authentic South Indian and coastal cuisine. When it comes to this cuisine, not many delivery models are present in Delhi NCR. South Indian is more of a space where it's looked at for dine-in or for, a very simple experience. But here with the Sama, we are giving you a fine delivery experience right at your doorstep. And some of the famous dishes that we have, we boast a menu with like beautiful dosas, idlis, biryani, some fusion, something like a butter chicken dosa or a chicken ghee roast dosa, which no other brand is actually offering to you with the kind of quality and packaging that we are. On to the next slide, please. Our next brand is Dimbao Pan Asian Experience. This is a melting pot of Southeast Asian delicacies. We have extremely generous portion sizes, top quality food and packaging. So we have something like a sushi from Japan to a nasi goreng to Chinese cuisine to Burmese cuisine to Bhutanese cuisine. We have everything in the menu to kind of, serve a larger audience. So you're not stuck to ordering one kind of cuisine just from one kind of food from one Pan Asian restaurant. We use top ingredients and our pricing is very competitive in the market and the quality of food is absolutely, absolutely brilliant. Next one, please. So Dimbao is a Pan-Asian brand under Smart Chef, which not only serves you Asian cuisine, stuck to just like Chinese, but Japanese, Indonesian, Burmese, Bhutanese, like I said. Our menu is very carefully curated, keeping everything in mind to offer a big variety to our customers at a very, very, very good price. Some signature dishes that we have are our Thai chi mushrooms, our crispy spinach, and many, many, many more. On to the next, please. Mr. Pao, happiness starts at ₹49. Now, this is a very close brand to us out of the three because we've worked very closely to bring in the right kind of Indian street food to the Delhi NCR market. And the idea of Mr. Pao is making sure that Indian street food is reaching everybody's doorstep, not just your average kind of food that you eat, but something that has great packaging, great quality, that authentic flavor, that Bombay, Maharashtra flavor that you look at. But we're not stuck to that. Again, we added our own fusion twist to the brand, where for a Delhi person, there is a samosa pav or a butter chicken. For a South Indian, we have something like a mushroom ghee roast. We follow all the WHO food and safety protocols at our kitchen and are very particular about it. We maintain the top hygiene at our outlet to make sure that whatever we are delivering to our customers is of the bestest quality. So Mr. Pao is a street food brand and a Smart Chef. It's inspired by the famous Pao from Bombay, which again in Delhi, there are not a lot of places in North India as such, a lot of places that do not get that Pao right, but we've somehow managed to get super close to it. We order scrumptious food right at your doorstep, like what we believe in saying happiness right at your doorstep. That's what Mr. Pao is all about. So our franchisee models, we have 4 models right now that we've worked upon. Our first model is the dark kitchen model, which we are also operating ourselves in Gurgaon. The 3 brands obviously will be Mr. Pao, Dosama, and Dimbao. The area for a dark kitchen would be about 500 square feet. The investment that you're looking at is 35 lakhs. The franchisee fee is about 12 lakhs, royalty 8%. Payback is about 71%, and the ROI time for you to become profitable is about 2 years and 6 months. Then we have a Model 2, Model 3, and Model 4, which are all QSR models for the 3 different brands with 3 different brackets. However, Our ROI time, if you see, for model 1, which is Mr. Pao QSR, is 9 months. For model 3, which is our Dasama QSR, which is 11 months, and model 4, which is our Pao QSR, which is 1 year. And if you can also see, the payback that we're looking at is about 238%, 137%, and 122% respectively. Next screen, please. So our rollout strategy is as follows. We are already present in Gurgaon. We are coming up very soon in North Delhi. The zones that we're targeting, we've done comprehensive study on which zones are actually good in Delhi NCR for which kind of brand to be present over there. So we have North Delhi, West Delhi, Greater Noida, East Delhi, and the city, a tier 2 city that we're looking at is Jaipur as well. Considering the supply strength of the brand, is pretty great right now. We want to start rolling out from Delhi NCR. We already have a sizable presence in Delhi and Gurgaon. As we know, we've been present in Gurgaon for about 10 months, and all our 3 brands have been really successful over here. The 3 models which are available for franchising are obviously your compound QSR Cloud Kitchen model, where you take all the 3 brands together. You have a quick service restaurant as well, in which you can pick and choose which brand you're looking at to start. And then we have a Cloud Kitchen model, again, where you could take 2 brands or you could take all 3 brands. That depends on the kind of investment and the kind of business model you're looking at. Next screen, please. So based on our target customers, market size, city demographics, and competition, Saket is one of the most attractive location, and Pitampura. So South Delhi, I'd say South Delhi and West Delhi as such, which are the most attractive locations, and Noida being one of the best locations that is there in Delhi NCR. You have Basant Kunj, you have Gurgaon, zones like DLF Phase 3, you have Sona Road, then you have your South Delhi zone with GK, Defense Colony, then you have your East Delhi as well, East and Southwest Delhi with Dwarka and Paschim Bihar, and then we have West Delhi as well as Indrapuram, Ghaziabad zone. So these are very well identified and being studied upon for the locations that you should be targeting. Next screen, please. So for Cloud Kitchen, these are the locations that we think are very profitable for you, because the market over there plus the average order value and the kind of customer base that is there is very suitable for us. So Rohini, Malviya Nagar, Rajouri Garden being one of the top locations. You have Sector 49, which is a Sona Road area in Gurgaon. You have Dwarka and Basant Kunj mainly, and Shapurjat, of course. So these are some of the areas which are very good for your Cloud Kitchen model. Next, please. So this is the kind of support and capability that the brand provides to you. We have built a very strong corporate team at the central office, where we have a centralized digital marketing support, centralized setup support, centralized logistics support, centralized marketing support. So that is something that the brand will offer you, because for any good brand to succeed, we need to have a very strong central support system as well as SOPs in place, which will all be provided to you to run the brand stores in the future. Next, please. On to the Q&A.
Thank you, Komal, and thank you, Sagar, for joining in. While it was a quick presentation, but very elaborate and understanding. I've known Kapilji for very many years, and he's a very passionate and dedicated entrepreneur. And now we have a privilege to have his sons. Now both Sagar is there on the call, so Sagar is now leading this business, and so what we do is, Komal and Sagar, if we can take some questions, we'll start with I taking some questions on the business model, and then we go into a little deeper into, the rollout planning which you have given in the times of which locations we need to do that. So before I start, I think I'll set the perspective. The perspective is that they've chosen 3 cuisines, and this has come with a lot of research work they have done, especially for North and also for NCR. They found that what people are actually wanting to consume, both from the format or the cuisine viewpoint, because South Indian was very high in demand, but very little available in the delivery space. Rather, somebody asked that delivery is difficult in South Indian. Absolutely right. Delivery was very difficult in South Indian. That's why the company took a lot of time in terms of researching and structure. Then they spent a lot of time in terms of product development. They have a very large central kitchen, state-of-art central kitchen put in Gurgaon, where they spend a lot of time with top chefs of India to do a lot of product development side. So product development is very critical. If you see that there are three cuisines, one is a South Indian or a coastal cuisine, which is a very large. I think it has multiple markets which would come from Udupi to Tamil Nadu and to Andhra to other places. So multiple cuisines, they have really done that. So you can give the full South Indian experience. Huge market opportunity available. There is a very big gap. I had a discussion with both Zomato and Swiggy. They used to tell us that why don't you bring in brands in this space, because the kind of demand they were creating in Zomato and Swiggy was not fulfilled, or not fulfilled from a high quality player. So there was a big gap in that market, which was coming in. The second product they will bring in is a Pan-Asian product. Again, the highest demand and good ticket value from a customer viewpoint. And third is their really Indian street food brand, which is Mr. Pao. So it's a very scalable business model, both in the QSR and also from a delivery viewpoint. Ideally to be in the neighborhoods where you have offices, people want light snack and a fast delivery. A lot of youngsters around there, like they're opening up in North Delhi, which is a very large university area and a big demand area for that. So these are three business models. Just for understanding, before I call both of them to really answer the question, I'll give you an understanding what they have really explained. One is the combined dark kitchen. Now this is a new thing which is we call host kitchen, where you host three different cuisines in one single kitchen. It optimizes your team, it optimizes your equipment, it optimizes your time of deliveries, because something which would have much demand in a particular time and something would have a much demand in an area. Say later in the evenings, you will get maybe more demand for the Pan-Asian entire thing. In between, you will get Mr. Pao, we're getting more demand because the evening snack time, you will get more demand. Lunches and breakfasts can be very big for South Indian cuisines. While they in the South Indian cuisine, they have also biryanis and a lot of other cuisines also, which are also available. We'll go deeper into the menu also, because a lot of people want to understand what is the menu mix looks like. So this is a very good combination, three very unique products. They would show three kitchens essentially on when you go into Zomato, they would actually identify as a three kitchen, but you are actually doing it from one kitchen. The another advantage you get, you don't have to pay independent fees, franchise fees for three different kitchens. You only pay about 12 lakh rupees one-time fee for all three brands. So sometimes people don't get entire thing. And the total investment on the CapEx is 35, including that 12 lakh rupees, which means that the only kitchen investment, which is putting a beautiful centralized structure for three kitchens, is about 23 lakh rupees, which would also involve deposits. It will also involve other aspects. So in the net sense, this becomes a greater opportunity. And then second model is, the other three model are three independent QSRs. It's a quick service restaurants. It can be in a food court. It can be a standalone small place. It can be, Mr. Pao can be even in captive locations. Captive location means you can be say a office block or any place where people are having fast moving structure. So Payal, what I would like is that before we go into this, because I know a lot of time and effort has gone into the product engineering. Sometimes people really get onto Excel sheets and financial modeling, but they don't understand that what kind of effort company has done in the developing the menu and the cuisine. And that's something which I feel is so special in your case, that the business model is and I feel that good food business models are always greater curated food cuisines. So if you have something which is handy with you, your menu is handy with you, we can really show to our audience.
Sure, not a problem. Just allow me about a minute's time. I'll just do that for you. So when it comes to the food, I'd just like to add that again, like the team at this is actually a brainchild of 3 years of preparation from Sagar Sahil and Kapil sir's end. They worked very closely to, like Gaurav very rightly said, that, we worked very hard and very, it's been a time consuming process. It's been an enjoyable process though, because, food is something that all of us are extremely passionate about. And luckily, we've managed to create a team at our end that has been dispensing great food. There has been a lot of product research that's gone into it. So I'll just quickly take you through our menus so you have an idea. I'll just second, I'll just present my screen.
And we'd also like to take Sagar, if you want to take this, because now you've set it up the central kitchen. The supplies would come from central kitchen to all the other kitchens.
Yes, the supplies will come in from the central kitchen, Gaurav. That's what we're trying to work on right now. Where, as long as it's in Delhi NCR, obviously, when we move on to other cities, we will be working on probably setting up a central kitchen over there, because obviously you don't want the food to travel for too long. So in Delhi, yes, it will be a central kitchen system where the food will be sent to you basis the kind of intention you raise from your outlet. So it's easier also for us to maintain inventory and the product quality. So product quality is priority for us, because it takes only one bad complaint or one bad review to completely kind of not destroy, but kind of put down a brand's reputation. So that is something that we are very particular about, that we want to maintain the quality control at the central level for all our brands.
Absolutely. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And you rightly said, and I should add, from a business model viewpoint, when you have central kitchen supplies, then you don't have to have too many back-end staff. You need to have just somebody who's assembly line and then do that. So it becomes much more convenient, and you don't have
it's
to
also very cost effective, and we can also maintain the consistency with that. We can have the consistency of the product.
Absolutely rightly said, Sagar. So you have the consistency of the products remain same everywhere, so the same kind of consumer experience. And second, you cut down a huge cost, because they have taken chefs available with there in the state of art central kitchen. Everything is available there, so they send you everything, so you can give much larger menu to people, and you don't have that kind of cost. So that's a very good. So let's go on the menu of
Save a lot on your storage costs at your outlet.
So the Mr. Pav has all the munchers, which are bhel puri, medium peri-peri fries, crispy fried chicken, which I think is a big winner. This is a big winner for doing it.
So this is our menu. For Mr. Pav, what we've tried to do is we've not kept an extensively elaborate menu, because again, you could have 100 things in your menu, but if you know that there are only 40 or 50 things selling, A, it's easier operationally. B, it's easier for a customer to choose from. C, it's easier for us to prepare and keep an inventory of and control wastage as well. So the entire menu for all the three brands have been worked upon very smartly, and we've actually made a couple of changes over the last few months to try and keep the most cost effective as well as the most widely accepted menu amongst customers. So there is nothing on our menus which actually does not sell. So this is our munchers, where we have something like a poha, bhel puri, which is, again, because we're an Indian snack food brand, we want to keep a variety of as much as things as possible. Then we have something like a crispy fried chicken, which was absolutely a stroke of genius. Where we created. It was a funny story. We weren't going to really add it in the menu, but it turned out so well, and it became such a success with the customers that we introduce variations of it. And so we have our paos, where you have your basic, chini maska pao, your Bombay vada pav, which is one of our top sellers, as well as our samosa pav, which is purely for the Delhi food lovers, the North Indian food lovers. Then we have something unique like a mushroom ghee roast pav, which again is something that you don't really get, is not available with any other brand. We have something like a butter chicken pav, a mutton keema pav, the famous spicy mutton keema pav. We introduced some Dolna menus again, because it's a very well accepted product. I'll just take you on to the next menu. we have our milk bhaji. Obviously, again, this pav bhaji is one of our top sellers. It's absolutely loved by our customers as well. Then we have like a butter chicken, a keema pav meal. We have some really nice beverages also that we got specially made for our brand, and they do very well as well. And then we have desserts in our menu, and this is our menu for Mr. Pao. It's just a very brief menu. Again, this is for a delivery model. Obviously, in the QSR dine-in model, there will be more combos and all as they sell. You know, the menu will be a little wider over there as well with the add-ons. This is just for the time being to keep the operations extremely simple at the outlet level. I'll just take you through our other brands menu as well. This is, if you can see, this is our menu on Zomato. So we have our images in place, we have our descriptions, everything that is pleasing aesthetically for a brand, which should be present on an online portal. We've made sure we take care of all of that, and our ratings have always been fabulous because we've maintained the quality of our food through and through. Then I'll just quickly run through our menu for Disama as well for you. Just allow me a minute.
No problem.
So for Disama as well, so we've tried to keep the menu as authentic as possible as well. But like I said earlier, that we wanted to introduce a fusion twist to it. So this is more of a classic menu that you see in front of you, which is the coastal food, which includes your, you know, some really famous dishes from across Chettinad, across Tamil Nadu, across Karnataka. So you have your rava fry fish, we have prawns, polichatu, obviously prawn 65, chicken 65, biryani. Our biryanis and dosas are one of our top sellers because again, the quality and the taste is absolutely divine. Then we have some of our curries that we've kept in the menu. Again, if you see, the menu is very concise and precise. We've not tried to like many things. We wanted to keep it simple and effective. Then we have our beverages, Malabar Parota. So these are a couple of things that we have. Then we have a very wide variety of dosas, idlis, in our menu, some desserts which are there in our menu, which again add. So this is our menu. If you see, again, images, descriptions, everything have been taken care of because you eat with your eyes first. So you read, you get attracted to something, that's when you decide to order it. And we take full guarantee that the food is 100% top notch. So your repeat rate will always be fantastic as well. So yeah, this is the Sama, and I'll just quickly run through Dimbao as well with you. So one of the specialties in Dimbao that we have is your average Pan Asian restaurant, all good Pan Asian restaurants do 4 pieces of sushis and 8 pieces of sushis. The thing that our customer the most about is the standardized portion of 6 pieces of sushi, which is very generous, and at the price that they're getting and the quality is top notch. So we've taken care of those small details as well as to avoid wastage and keep the customers as well satisfied. So this is our Dimbao, which is one of our most varied menu because Pan Asian cuisine, since we're serving 5 to 6 countries cuisine, we wanted to give the customers variety. So this is our menu for Dimbao. So you've seen the menu for all our 3 brands now.
Yep. Very interesting. I should compliment you. Good photo shots, very compelling product. So I think you've done a good job, and that's what speaks about the detailing and the passion you have for the business. Now let's get into a little bit business. Average order ticket value for all 3 brands would be?
So currently, the Sama is ranging between 400 to 500. Dimbao is ranging between a 700 to 1000. And for Mr. Pau, even though it's a low, it's taken to be a low AOV brand, but we're still sitting at a strong AOV about 300 and 350.
Oh, that's very good. I never thought
Yes.
this can be, but very impressive for the other two also, because that's more dining kind of APCs,
Absolutely.
normally not available for dark kitchens.
Yes.
And good part is that because you've given a good premium product, you don't have to really compromise, especially in Delhi NCR. I think people are now shifting. They want high quality, high hygienic product with a great value, rather than just running for a value or running for 1+1 free or things of that nature. I think
Absolutely. You
this would
have both kinds of customers in the market. There are customers which are looking for low quality food at a low price, and then you have a good customer which is looking to pay a decent price for a good quality food that they're putting inside their system. And we want to target that kind of customer. We want customers who actually kind of value the food that they're getting and actually have something good or constructive to say about it. So that is the kind of customer also that we're targeting.
Absolutely. And I think that's a sensible way to do. And that also makes the business model profitable. You're able to retain right people. You have the better raw material. Everything else becomes much better. So now going into the sales function. So what kind of sales we can expect from the combined dark kitchen? Because I feel that that's a winner model. That's a winner model. Somebody puts in Noida, somebody puts in North Delhi, somebody in West Delhi, Central Delhi, South Delhi can be huge, huge market for that. So what kind of sales cycle we can really see? What kind of numbers we can see on a quarter-to-quarter basis?
So we have luckily for during this COVID time, actually we've been barely shut, right? Our kitchen, like initially we were obviously because of our staff and all, and once we decided to move on, talking about the numbers, even during the COVID period, we've seen a consistent growth of 20 to 30% per month for all three brands. So you're looking at starting off, Mr. Pau could easily pull off, if I say all the three brands combined, about from the fourth, fifth month onwards, you could look at a sale starting from going up to a 7 to a 10 lakhs easily from a cloud kitchen model easily. And this is just to start with. And like I said, we've been growing at an average of 20 to 30% month on month, even in a situation like this. So I don't see any kind of problem. So about 6 to 9 months down the line, you're looking at probably a sale of 10 lakhs per month easy.
It's a good time to start, because a lot of these, so to say, unrecognized, unstructured players who were staying in the market didn't have good equipment, didn't have good team, just was playing because that, there was a rush of coming in dark kitchen. They all would eliminate. They all would eliminate. The market would become very firm. People would also be very conscious in terms of who they really want to order, which companies they want to really have. So I think this is a good time for a good organized player to do. And that's what we're seeing in the QSR space. People who have right bandwidth are actually now coming and becoming more aggressive in the market. And people who didn't have the right models are actually exiting the business. So this would create a fair play. And even Zomato and Swiggy are becoming very conscious about who they really want to promote, because they also understand they need consistent people who have good quality of food. So it's
this
a good
is something very important that you've said, Gaurav, because that is exactly what was happening a couple of months back. There were a lot of unwanted, unfair players on the market which weren't really serving the kind of food and eating into the business of really genuine players who put in time, money, and effort to grow their brands. And it has sort of grown into, over the last few months, it's becoming a much, much, much fairer market in terms of restaurants who are still present over there.
Sure. So I would say if our listeners, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you can take an estimate of starting from 6-7 lakh rupees sales, because three brands are there with 2.5 lakh.
The first quarter, yes.
The first quarter, and then you will reach out to about 10 odd lakh rupees, what is called the optimum performance, and then this can go to another 3-4 lakh rupees up when you hit the peak performance.
Absolutely.
But because you are running dark kitchen, you have a very little cost, and if you have your own place which has can be used for a dark kitchen, much easier. So how much space is required? 500 square feet, you said?
Yes, 500 square feet for the 3 kitchen model that you're looking at.
So 500 square feet, typically for a dark kitchen kind of space, you can get it at about 20, 25, 30,000 rupees max. and a top class place with a
Right
nice
now, the market is as such that you can. Yeah.
easily 30,000 rupees. So imagine if you have 30,000 rupees there, or maybe even 40,000 rupees, let's take it. And then you have a food cost. What kind of food cost pile we can talk about?
We're looking at a food cost of food plus packaging cost inclusive is between 35 to 37%, because again, our packaging is really top notch. But your food
Take a 37% on that, which means that if you're doing a sale of what I don't go there at the peak sale, I take 7.5 lakh rupees a sale. But even at 7.5 lakh rupees, if this is there,
1.75 lakhs is your food cost.
so it's about so 7.5 lakh rupees, maybe 3 odd lakh rupees.
Yeah, 3 odd lakhs.
Your food cost, and then maybe 40,000 rupees your rent, 20,000 rupees your electricity and gas and other things. So you're talking about 360, and then you have manpower. How much is the manpower for that?
So the good thing about the manpower bit is that for Dosama and for Mr. Pao, you can have common staffing, because the fillings are, you need to have like one main chef for both the brands, and then common staffing in between, and then Bao. So you're looking at probably initially, obviously your costing compared to your sale would be higher staff cost, but you're looking at a staffing of approximately
About 8 people.
8 to 9 people for the 3 brands.
Yeah, so 8 to 9 people, and that would make maybe another 1 lakh rupee if we keep as a provision.
Slightly higher than that, because you would have 2 chefs, which would be, and 1 manager at your outlet.
So let's put that a provision of say 140, 1,40,000 also. Then I think 360 plus 140, it becomes about 5 odd lakh rupees. Even if I take then there's some delivery margin, then also you end up making about a lakh of rupee, even at a 7.5 lakh rupee kind of a number. But
at a 7.5 lakh rupee, 7.5, 8 lakh, you could be reaching a break even.
Yeah. And then when you hit the numbers like 10 lakh rupees,
10, 12, 13, 14, you start getting like brilliant. At 12, 13 lakh, you're getting a brilliant ROI. You're getting a brilliant profitability.
And you have to understand that only, so it's a business which can run for many years. It doesn't have too much of recurring cost, small rental place. Delivery only kitchens is a big future. 3 different choices, 3 distinctive brands, which doesn't have too much of market competition available. If you really ask yourself, give me 5 names in NCR, which are top South Indian coastal cuisine delivery formats, you will not have the names. You know, while there will be few people who are trying to do that here and there, but not so much strong companies. So there is a good opportunity in all these 3 formats, and they have done a lot of research. I will now like to invite Sonia for picking up some questions, because I think we're getting a lot of questions from audience coming in. So over to you, Sonia, for your remarks and questions.
Thank you. Thank you both Komal and Sagar for coming today. And just to add on, listening to the conversation, initially when the cloud kitchen concept started, it started as a response to the increased demand of high quality meal delivery and the rising rentals in the city center locations. But because of not too many regulations and low entry barrier in the last many years, we saw many unorganized people come in and they started these dark kitchens. But today, and because of maybe the current situation, we have seen how this industry has evolved, and maybe this category or maybe this format of cloud kitchen has, so to say, come in the mainstream. And one thing which is extremely important, friends, as far as cloud kitchen is concerned, it is efficiency, which is extremely important element. And I would say it's optimization of POS, which is process optimization, order optimization, and staff scheduling optimization, which brings in the efficiency at the outlet. So, Komal, I'll bring some questions from the audience, which I want to pick up. First and foremost, because we did talk about an ROI, which is about 2.5 odd years. What kind of working capital do you foresee for an investor to be involved? And typical questions which I'm also seeing coming in is on the ROIs. And considering the time, do you see a delay or a gestation to see these ROIs coming on? This has been rather considered when these calculations were done.
So this has actually been very well considered. Like Sagar would agree with me on this. 2.5 years is not at all, 2 years and 6 months is not at all a long time to get this back. In fact, if we all know it very well, in the F&B industry, the average model to break even is normally 18 months. Be it a dark kitchen or be it a QSR kitchen. With a cloud kitchen, with the cloud kitchen, like Gaurav said earlier, with your costs being so low, and Sonia just added optimization of staff and your optimization of operations. These are the two most important things. If that is in place and the quality of food is in place, it's no problem to get your ROI, in fact, in a time earlier than that also.
All right. And what kind of working capital is required for a franchisee? And typical, how many months would it take to come to the sales level, which you currently do in Gurgaon?
So we have reached our sales model right now. It's been, say, 9-10 months that we are operational, out of which COVID has happened in between for 2 months and all of that. But I think about like we've given it in our presentation as well, for a QSR, we've given 9, 11, and 12 months time. But just with deliveries, if I have to say, about 9 to 12 months, 12 months time for you to reach a break even is very easily doable.
All right, helpful. Second, what kind of profile of people would be the right fitment? I see some people asking, what is the obligation of a franchisee? One, and what kind of people would you want to bring in? And third, maybe what kind of training is imparted to the franchisees?
So we're going to provide with all the trainings, and we would only be interested in people who are like, foodie themselves. Like they shouldn't be like, having some knowledge about food. We're just not doing it for money. Like, we don't want the money. We don't care about the money. We care about the brand.
Similar passionate people, so food and beverage is a very, is something which is very close to everybody, like it's what we work for, right? To earn our bread and butter eventually. And when you're investing in a brand, we are handing over our brand in your hands to take it forward the way we've created it. A lot of hard work, sweat and money and time and love has gone into building these 3 brands that we have over the last few years. So it's a very similar profile that we're looking at, like of people who are passionate individuals, have a great business acumen, and are looking to just grow the brands along with us. We're ready to provide you all the support that you need from the corporate office. That's why we built a very strong corporate and central team. And that is the kind of profile we're looking at, people who are just passionate about everything that they do and foresee the brand, the future of the brand like we see.
Sure. Another question which I want to pick up is on the marketing. What kind of marketing currently is done by the company, and as a go-to market or locations, for a new franchisee, what kind of launch activities, market channels or mediums would be utilized by you?
So for marketing, we have a centralized digital marketing team, which is already there. We are very strong on our social media, because we know in today's time, more than print media, social media is what is building your brand. And that is where you're actually reaching out to multiple customers without having to physically reach them through the virtual world. So we have a very strong digital marketing. So a pre-launch, there will be an entire plan created as to announcements that need to be made. If a newspaper article needs to be given out, promoting it on a Zomato or Swiggy the way it needs to be done. So all of those activities will be well planned out, where we also have one ask, which is there that for the first 3 months, the marketing for every outlet will be completely taken care of by the central team, obviously the central marketing team, along with the franchisee owner who's there, because we already have seen a success in the kind of marketing that we do for our brand. It's everything, including from flyer designing to your creative posting to promoting that brand over there. All of that is taken care of in your pre-launch as well as post-launches.
Sure, Komal. I would like to take maybe 2 more questions. And one is on the term of the agreement. How long is the agreement signed for? One. And maybe you start with that and then I take my next question.
It's signed for 5 years usually.
So friends, it's a period of 5 years. 2.5 years is what you will take to recover the return on the investment being made by you. And between these 3 formats, because if we club all these 3 formats together, what kind of contribution or percentage do you see coming out of these 3 in the overall revenue?
I beg your pardon, I'm sorry, your voice broke. Can you repeat the
I'm
question?
saying, so when we talk about all these three formats clubbed together under one cloud kitchen, what kind of revenue percentage do you foresee coming out of these three different formats? You know, so how much for one segment, how much for the second and third?
So they're actually currently, I would say it'll be 35, 35, 30. Dimbao, Dosama, and Pao. Obviously, because I'm going AOV wise also. So Dimbao, because it's a higher AOV brand, even if you do 200 orders, it still does at 600 rupees, it still does an X amount of business. While Mr. Pao at a 300 and 350 at 5 will do 500 orders with an X amount of business. So it'll be mostly 35, 35, 30. And if you have a Dosama and Pao model, for example, for a kitchen, there it would be about 50, 50 or 60, 40, like that.
Sure, Komal, I think I'm seeing a lot of many other questions which are coming in, and I feel it will be helpful if we take these questions maybe one-on-one with many investors who want to even talk to you, and they want to perhaps understand a little bit in more depth. And if maybe sometime in this coming week, you feel a day we can allocate where we can bring some of the filtered profiles of people based on the recommendations we have given in the presentation. Do you foresee a date which you want to announce?
There is another question which questions I want to take. One, there's somebody is really talking about, as he wanted, I could say his full name, but it's AKP, is asking about the situation of Zomato and Swiggy closing their dark kitchens. So just to clarify that point, they're a technology company, and in the rush of demand, because they were not able to fulfill the demand, they started investing backward to build their capability. That was never the business model. The investors never invested in them to become a kitchen company. They were a delivery platform, and they are rather diversifying their delivery capabilities, not only in just food service, but a lot of other essentials also, food and F&B also, and other things also. So because they were not able to service that demand, they were not able to get the faster private investment coming in the dark kitchens. They started investing themselves, and now with all that is now happening, and the maturity of market has come in, and a lot of good players like Smart Chef and other players are coming in the whole delivery space. They are now trying to exit that part and concentrate on the digital platform. Just for your also perspective, this is now very mature as a marketplace. It would get its consolidation. Only good quality players who have a very strong infrastructure invested. I would strongly say you have to take a chance to visit what Sagar and Sahil has invested into. So see their facility, their kind of capability, try their product, then you will see the differentiation what they've created versus a lot of other players available in the market. Any other also they would be also open for area and master franchise if somebody is a good profile, and if you are say from Pune or a Bangalore or a place like that where you want to really set up something which they have done, put a central kitchen and then put up some dark kitchens and have that kind of ability, and you can demonstrate that you will be passionate equally about the brand, then they are also open to consider area and a master franchise discussions. This stage, otherwise the focus is essentially for Delhi NCR and Jaipur, which can be speeded from their current central kitchen for a dark kitchen and a QSR restaurants.
Right.
And
we could probably, Sonia, answering your question, we could probably look at a Thursday or a Friday for taking this forward. We can discuss this, like the questions, the profiling that you're talking about, because I also see there are a lot of questions right now, which is physically impossible to answer each one of them. So we could totally get on we could totally plan this on a Thursday or a Friday.
I think you can block Friday.
Friday works.
Okay.
So another question somebody has asked, I don't see a name. He's saying that why the price of the kitchen is higher than and some of the dark kitchens other than that are so much cheaper. I appreciate your question and I appreciate your feedback. It depends on every company how they plan their equipments, and I think equipments are expensive sometimes when you run the cuisines, and multiple cuisines are there, 3 different cuisines, and as I said, Sagar and Sahil are not compromising on the quality, so they are putting the best in class kind of infrastructure. While I mean, there is, I mean, just to give you an example, you can get a fryer, which can be like a brand like Henny Penny, which KFC uses. That single fryer can be about 7 to 8 lakh rupees. And you can get a tabletop fryer, which is used by a corner place. Probably one does the same job at maybe 30,000 rupees. So fundamentally is that the equipment really makes a lot of difference. So one has to really see because commercial kitchens have commercial usage. So it needs sometimes in that thing. And as at my own capacity, I don't never push any numbers. We are just representing what is being told by our client to represent. And we go out and represent what they want to do in the market. And every brand has its own perspective and approach towards the business. And they would look at the opportunity on that. So as I said, Sagar and Sahil wants to really do not so much. They were very conscious about growth. That's why they invested themselves first, settle their own business, 3 years of research. Now they want to go and only pick up good quality partners, which are also equally passionate and invested with them. So now, which date we fixed for Discovery Channel?
We've confirmed the 11th, and I see some of our viewers already asking for the same, for a one-on-one discussion. And so we have fixed 11th of September. We would look forward to receiving your details. I see Ajayji's query. He wants to have one-on-one discussion, and so is Mr. Mohit Gupta and many others I'm seeing responding. Friends, I would request, we have our hotline number we've put on our chat. I would request each one of you kindly share your details, location. If you have a property that you currently own, that can be interesting for us to maybe consider. And a little bit about yourself, maybe your current profile or any other business or occupation that you currently do will be helpful for us in filtering and maybe adding value to the half an hour time that we try to bring both the parties together.
Sure, and please reach out to our business hotline number, and we will be more than happy to set up your. I think even you can try the food, taste the product. There is nothing better than understanding the product, and once you understand the product and see, and I think so the family has put in a lot of effort in building this business now, and then now earlier they were not keen to give even franchises; they were building their own. And now I think they've opened up and they want to look at some locations where a franchisee can also come and partner and grow further. Any last remarks from you, Sagar, Payal, anything which you want to really?
No, thank you, Mr. Mario. Thank you.
Komal, sorry. Komal, anything from your side?
Nothing. Thank you very much. This has been a great session. Thank you for all the questions. And we look forward to meeting some of you, like connecting with you guys on Friday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sagar. Thank you, Komal.
Thank you,
and,
thank you everyone.
We would certainly look forward for doing it. And over to you for your remarks.
So thank you so much, Sagar. Thank you so much, Komal, for joining us today. Thanks for all the support given to you for this particular webinar. We would like to thank our attendees who have joined us today. We extend our thanks to our panel member, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am, for sharing their insights about the industry, about the brand also. Please do connect with us at a business hotline number, which is 9717683838. We are organizing one-to-one meeting with a team of Smart Chef on Friday, which is 11th. Please share your detailed profile with us. You can block your slot at the same business hotline number. You can also connect with Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their respective LinkedIn IDs. And tomorrow we are inviting you, since we are organizing 110th edition of 110th edition of Business Opportunity with Chai webinar series. We are presenting you yet another exciting and informative session. The brand which enjoys the legacy of 17 years and providing a full-fledged service for interior designing. That's the brand we are presenting you tomorrow. And the team, the founder and the managing director, Mr. Singh of Greenway Interior, coming directly for you guys, interacting and showcasing, presenting his business ideas for you. Please join us tomorrow. Do registration today so that you get a confirmation tomorrow and join us at the same time. Thank you so much once again. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, friends.